And this is the Professor, CBMD PhD, and today's Friday, July 18th, 2025. It is 10:17 and 48 seconds, p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and today's research, UFO story. So let's hop to it here. The sighting and filming took place July 28, 1959, between 2:10 and 2:20 p.m. in Corpus Christi, Texas. There had been numerous UFO sightings in the area, and Ray Stanford and a friend had cameras ready. Mr. Stanford used a 16mm Keystone K51 executive camera on a tripod with 75mm curved-bar telephoto lens and daylight Kodachrome film. The aperture setting was approximately f10 and exposure was at 16 frames per second. The friend used an 8mm Keystone K27 Capra camera with 25mm lens, handheld, and Type A Kodachrome film. The aperture setting was f8 exposure 16 frames per second. Mr. Stanford notified Max Miller by telephone, August 1st, that he had the film still unprocessed. Mr. Miller subsequently viewed the films, which were processed in Los Angeles several days before they were forwarded to Mr. Stanford. In his verbal report, Mr. Stanford states that 3 cigar-shaped UFOs were visible at one time, and a fourth appeared soon after. One of the objects reportedly released a small disc beneath it, and the disc sped upwards at about a 45-degree angle, disappearing in the distance. Each of the objects was said to be sharply outlined and blue-white in color. Only one object was photographed, appearing as a bright, slightly oblong light source. It does not maneuver. Also visible on both films is a contrail of an airplane curving slightly around the UFO after apparently moving in the direction of the UFO. NICAP comments. Examination of the films by NICAP showed no detail on the object and no appreciable motion of the object. Venus, which was prominent at the time, was considered as an explanation, but ruled out because the image was enlarged considerably by a larger telephoto lens. The verbally described maneuvers, multiple objects and launching of a disc, were not confirmed by the films. Though many other reports from alleged additional witnesses were never received from Mr. Stanford, his background relative to the UFO subject was considered. He and his brother co-authored a privately published book entitled Look Up, in which alleged contacts with spaceships, ESP, and a chapter on how the craft are constructed, propelled, and controlled are included. One is an alleged personal close-up visual contact brought about by ESP experiments. Also, Mr. Stanford previously took an 8mm color film, September 18, 1956, which purportedly shows 2 jet interceptors chasing a UFO. With this background, there was some natural suspicion about the authenticity of the 1959 film. However, NICAP representatives who talked to Mr. Stanford were impressed by his sincerity. An examination of the films by NICAP and Max B. Miller found no evidence of fakery or tampering with the films, which, as stated above, were processed in Los Angeles and examined by Max Miller before they were viewed by Mr. Stanford himself. We conclude that the films themselves are authentic records of some object in the sky, but that they do not substantiate the verbal report and do not constitute significant evidence of UFOs as the matter now stands. This video was created for educational purposes only. Codename Will, Professor Christopher Burnett, leader of research, scientist, ufologist, psychic, computer programmer, computer technician, philanthropist, writer, mathematician, artist, photographer, film producer, chef, animal, and nature lover. Passion, world peace. Hope you enjoyed listening. Until next time, have an excellent day. And this is the Professor.